Hey everyone, welcome back for another video for this week. My name is Sarah and thank you so much for tuning in. Today I am sharing with you all how easy it is to draw mandalas digitally. I recently started doing these digitally just because sometimes it just takes up too much time to draw them by hand with all the stippling that I do and just how big I've been drawing them lately. So sometimes it's just nice to take a little bit of the pressure off by doing it digitally, and I can't deny that sometimes going digital is offering a lot more convenience. So right now I'm going to change this canvas size, and I like to put it on 8.5 by 11, and I change it to inches instead of pixels just because if I do decide to print these mandalas out, it's just going to print on a regular size paper. It's just going to be the appropriate size that I need. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and I don't know where this smudge came from, to be honest, so I'm just going to erase that. So in addition to sharing with you guys this program, I personally find that it's really great for beginners, and also the great thing about it is that it recently became available to the public for free, so that's quite awesome in my opinion. So if you need more information on that, you can check the description below. So to get started, some of the items that I'm going to be using is this pen, and as you can see, it's fairly fluid. And I'm also going to be using the eraser a lot because sometimes it's pretty common to make mistakes, and so you can also change the size of the eraser, which you guys will see later on in the video. I'm going to be using the circle tool, which will be very handy when we start drawing, and I'm also going to be using the zoom tool, which will help us get different perspectives and just kind of give us a great overview of how far our mandala is coming along. And this is the circle tool. As you can see, you can change the size, and this is going to replace the compass that we normally use on paper. And if you do decide to use this program, one way to know that you have a perfect circle is to look at these numbers, and for as long as they are equal numbers, you will have a perfect circle. So it doesn't matter what the number is, just as long as those two numbers are the same, you will have a perfect circle. The next two items that I will be using to help us draw this mandala are the Symmetry Tools. Both of them will be selected, and as you can see, it will give us the center of the page, and it's going to give us a cross. Whatever I draw on one side, it's going to mimic it on the other side, as it will above and below. And this is really handy in case you just want to speed up your drawing, and whatever you draw, it's just going to mimic it. And I find that this is very helpful, in all honesty. You can also just have one side selected so that the left side only gets mimicked, or you can have it so that the top and bottom only gets mimicked. So it's really important to play around with some of these features just to see what you can create as far as mandalas. I am still getting the hang of it. Sometimes I forget to select one when I'm drawing, and only one side will get drawn, and I'll discover it later on, and I'll realize, oh my goodness, I didn't even draw anything on the other side. So for this next tool, this is the steady stroke tool. This is great because I don't have the steadiest of hands, and I think for a lot of people, if they're doing digital, it's really common to come across people who just aren't as steady. So this tool really helps us draw even lines, and you can manipulate how steady you want the lines to be. So further on the right, it's going to be very steady. As you can see, that line is extremely straight. It's not as easy to control. It's not as fluid, definitely. I personally like to keep it at the very end, but not so much on the end to the point where it's basically considered freehand. This kind of gives me a bit of both being steady and somewhat free hand. And so to get started with this mandala, I'm going to have two layers. The first layer is going to be the background, and this is where I'm going to be drawing our guidelines. And if you guys are familiar with my videos, you know when I start drawing mandalas, I like to draw guidelines first. So this is what I'm going to be doing now on this very first layer. So I have a few tools selected. I have the circle tool selected, I have both the symmetry tool selected, and then I have the free hand drawn tool selected, as you can see on the top toolbar. And so right now I'm just going to be drawing in with this circle tool, and I'm just going to be drawing some circles. It's really, and sometimes I make mistakes, so you're going to kind of see that, and I'm just going to undo that. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw some circles. I think it's time that I get a new mic because as I was recording, I finished up all the voiceover just to realize that this clip wasn't recording. So I think it's time that I get a new recorder, a new mic. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be drawing my guidelines because, as you guys may or may not know, this is what I normally do when I draw mandalas on paper. I first start off with finding the center of the page, and then I start with the guidelines, and then we kind of draw on top of that. Well, this concept is kind of the same, except we won't be using a compass. We're going to be using the tools available in this program, and these guidelines are going to be made a little bit more on the transparent side, just so that it's not in your face and it's not so distracting. So as you guys can see on the right side in the layer toolbox, I'm going to be lowering that opacity, and then I'm going to be selecting the layer on top of that, and this is where we're going to be drawing our designs on top. And I'm always going to be using the same tools. I'm going to be using our pen tool, our circle tool, both of our symmetry tools, and then I'm going to be alternating from the freehand tool and the steady stroke tool. And it's important to always make sure that the right tools are selected as you go. Because sometimes it's quite common for me especially, I still do it, where it's easier for me to draw on the left side of the paper, or it's easier to draw on the right side of the paper, and then sometimes I will forget to keep those symmetry tools selected, and I'll realize that one side of the paper is not done at all, but the other side is, so I have to go back and redraw everything. So this is why it's a good habit to get into, just to make sure those tools are always selected at all times, so that you don't have to go back and redraw everything, because sometimes the designs that you draw just aren't easy to draw, and that's why the symmetry tool option is really handy, because it kind of takes the pressure off of having to draw those designs over and over and over again, which is why I like drawing digitally now, because it really takes the pressure off of just drawing. And now that I'm preparing for an art show, sometimes I just need a little bit of more time to myself, and drawing digitally can really take that load off my shoulders. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing throughout this whole video. I'm just going to keep repeating the process until this mandala is done. You guys are more than welcome to use this design if you would like to. My goal for the near future is to, for one, I am planning on publishing my own coloring book, so that is why I'm sharing with you guys ways to draw mandalas digitally, and just sharing with you all some of the designs that may or may not be featured in the book that I have planned. So once some of these become available, or once I finish up with some of these designs, I definitely plan on making them available for you guys for free to download. So I'm in the process of publishing a book, and also I am hoping that I can launch a website soon, my own personal website, which is going to be where I will allow people to request commissions, where I can sell some of my artwork that I do on these videos. You guys are more than welcome to buy those if you like them. And so on the website, I'm also going to have available free downloads of these coloring pages. So I will definitely let you guys know when the website is going to be launched. I'm hoping in the next month I can get that available, because I'm hoping that I can have it available before I go into the art show. So I have a lot of things planned, and I'm trying to take it one step at a time. And so if this is something that you guys would be interested in, definitely let me know. I definitely plan on changing things up on my channel. I want to maybe add a different series, so I definitely want to make coloring pages part of this channel, just to see how you guys respond to it. And honestly, I found that coloring is very, very relaxing, so maybe I can just dedicate a part of this channel to having a coloring book series. So you guys can definitely let me know if this is something you would love to see. And so yeah, I'm basically just going to keep repeating this process for drawing this mandala, and making sure that everything is coming out right. And some of the designs are really funky, and I kind of like that, because I'm used to drawing very particular mandalas, and that's the beauty of drawing things digitally, is that it allows me to come up with new designs that I wouldn't have drawn on paper. So I completely forgot to mention what kind of tablet I am using. On some of my other videos that I have been doing with digital stuff, I have been asked what kind of tablet I am using, and I'm actually using the Wacom Pro tablet. I got it for Christmas a few years ago, and in all honesty, I didn't use it for the first year just because I didn't know how to be honest. And so after that first year of not using it, I started using it a little bit more often, and so now I am using it a little bit more regularly, and I'm kind of getting used to it. It's still much different than drawing on paper, and again, if you don't really, for me personally, I don't have that eye-hand coordination thing down, and sometimes it's still a little bit weird for me to be drawing on the tablet while looking up at my computer screen. So while I do very much like this tablet and it's great to have at home, I am definitely planning on getting an iPad, and I really want to install Procreate on it. So that's one thing that I would love to have, and it's going to be something that will allow me to just kind of draw on the go. I can take the iPad anywhere I want, and I can still create art wherever I'm going. So that's definitely something that I'm using, and I'm not really sure how much the Wacom tablet is. I can definitely link everything in the description below. And I've had it for a few years now, and it's still working fine. And the one thing that I love about this tablet is I believe all the tablets of this brand, they do come with nib replacements, and the nib replacements is basically the tip of the pen that you will be using to draw. Sometimes it gets worn out, and so I do kind of have to change them pretty regularly, but I do have to say the nibs don't have to get changed as often as I thought they would be needing to get changed. So you definitely, actually I really don't know where I put those replacements now that I think about it, so I probably should start looking for those because I'm definitely going to have to change them out. But that's the tablet that I use, and I have been actually really enjoying it, but I do prefer looking at the artwork that I'm creating so that it's much more of an organic approach to drawing. So in the future, I'm really excited to get a lot of different tools that will help me draw a little bit more easily. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, I really hope it was educating somehow and you found it useful. And if you are able to get your hands on an, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's actually affordable tablets out there. You don't have to get this tablet to say this was a gift, and so there are much more affordable tablets out there that you can use. And once you get a tablet, if you want to, you can definitely get yourself the program that I'm using, which is free, and then from there you can just kind of practice, and I really hope you guys do because it's super fun. So I finished this mandala, and so now I'm just going to be saving 2 files. The first file is going to be a TIFF file, and this is the file that I'm going to be going back to if I want to make changes to this design, if I want to add something to it, if I want to get rid of something. This is going to be the TIFF file that I'll be going to for that. And I'm also going to be saving it as a PNG file, which is going to be the more permanent file, the file that I'll probably use should I like this design and want to keep it. I'll probably be using it, for example, as a thumbnail, or just as a sample. So this is more of a permanent file, something that I don't plan on changing, so that's why it's good to save both of those files. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, rate and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!